Outside our shores, on a major progress in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, delegations from both countries on Monday agreed to the largest prisoner exchange since the conflict began. The second round of peace talks wrapped up in Istanbul, with both sides pledging to move forward with an all-for-all power swap. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy confirmed the agreement and said the deal also includes the return of the bodies of around 6,000 fallen soldiers. Ukrainian Defense Minister Rustem Umerov led Kyiv's delegation, joined by top officials including Deputy Foreign Minister Sergiy Kyslytsya and Deputy Intelligence Chief Vadym Skibitskyi. Joining this conversation from Ontario is Alexander Von Rugen. Thank you. He is a policy analyst, as well as Ezeadilieje, an international affairs analyst, who also joins me from Port Harcourt. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Ella, I'm going to start with you. Great progress, isn't it, between Russia and Ukraine? What do you make of this swap?
Okay, well, I think it's a step in the right direction, because at the end of the day, human beings are dying on both sides of the crisis, and I believe that this prisoner swap, if and when eventually it happens, will bring much needed relief on both sides. Now, it's also important to note that this prisoner swap or exchange has not had any kind of serious impact on the issues at hand right now. But it's like a temporary kind of relief where they exchange prisoners, and now they're talking about exchanging the dead, or allowing the Ukrainians to come and pick up, the bodies of the dead. So it's a humanitarian angle. It's like, let us breathe while we go back and come back and continue the fight. But I think it's a step in the right direction. They're prioritizing the sick, they're prioritizing the elderly, and the very young people. And of course, you know that on both sides of the divide, they wouldn't want to leave their fallen soldiers behind. So I applaud it, while hoping it gives birth to something more permanent, something more far-reaching.
Right. Well, let me bring in our Alexander. What do you make of the fact that there are no deadlines to this swap? Is this some kind of trap?
Well, if you have to understand Mr. Putin's mentality, I think the prison swap is more of a tactical tool to take the fight out of the Ukrainians. You're giving back youth and dead bodies, and for what? A useless war. I mean, this is to take the fight out of Ukraine, because they're showing a lot of muster against the Russians. Putin needs wins. Now, keep in mind, this prisoner swap was agreed to before the drone attack of yesterday, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out tomorrow in Turkey.
And I'm still going to stay with you, Alex. The Ukrainian president keeps saying that Vladimir Putin must be held accountable for the invasion, whichever way the war ends. But that, again, is a major barrier to any resolution. How do you weigh in on that?
I don't think any leader is going to be held up for international crimes against humanity unless it's a complete unconditional surrender, similar to Iraq when Saddam Hussein was hung for his atrocities. Putin won't let that happen. And I think it's a threat, again, another negotiating tactic. But the reality is I think they're going to just recognize his diplomatic immunity and carry on once a settlement's been reached.
Ella, what do you make of that? Will Vladimir Putin be brought to any kind of justice, as the Ukrainian president is demanding? Do you think that Vladimir Putin will face the law, just like Ukraine is demanding?
I don't think so. Just like he said, I don't think so. Even though the pressure is on Vladimir Putin, I think Russia is to most people, Russia is on the wrong side of the law because they started the invasion, and for reasons they claim it's for security and, trying to protect their borders and their integrity and all that. Be that as it may, I think Russia is too powerful to be held accountable, just like he said. I don't think anything will come out of it. Our prayers and hopes are that they reach agreements and, come to an understanding and let the war stop. Because let's face it, this is a very expensive war. It's expensive in terms of money, it's expensive in terms of military hardware, personnel, and of course, the collateral damage, it's expensive. So the war has to end. When? Nobody knows, but I can almost guarantee that at the end of it, nothing will come out of it in terms of taking responsibility or having to face an international, court of justice over war crimes or anything like that. I don't think so.
Ella, one of Ukraine's key demands is an unconditional ceasefire. A key demand also that both Europe and the US believe is a way forward, but rejected by Russia. How much longer can these disagreements hold?
The demand for an unconditional ceasefire was laid on the table, and then we had a major drone attack on a Russian aircraft yesterday. They're reporting 41 aircraft destroyed. I don't know if that's propaganda or realistic. I guess we'll eventually find out. Russia has been moot on that point. They haven't reported it in their papers. All they've said is there was a terrorist attack at an airport. But the important thing to note is that attack happened 2,500 miles into Russian territory, which means Russia's no longer safe from attack. So one would hope this is going to be the catalyst to reason in bringing them to a table to settle and negotiate. The fact that they're silent so far is a very, very good thing. The other thing I think to take note of is attacks like this can't be planned without internal cooperation. And I think there may be some falling out of the ranks in Russia itself. I mean, we won't find out until maybe a few years from now. Who knows? Maybe Putin's ready to make an example of them and needs to delve further into researching the cause of this attack on Russian territory. It's definitely a big blow, and it's a major win for Zelenskyy in these negotiations. Whether the Russians retaliate, I don't think we can decide that on this show. We're going to see the outcome in the next few days, but warfare in this arena has taken on a whole new form, and Ukraine's not going to give up. This was long in the planning. I think Zelenskyy has a few more tricks up his sleeve. I don't think he's playing all the cards on the table, and he's actually, I'm impressed by his tactical abilities.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there tonight. Ezeadilieje, I hope I pronounced your name correctly today, and also Alexander Von Rugen, thank you both for joining us tonight.
My pleasure as always.
Thank you for having us. Good night.